Hi, Ed Diaz here. In today's video, we're going to show you how to create your own custom arpeggios inside the FA workstation. One of the great features about the Roland's FA is there's a lot of great tools inside the FA that are going to help you for live performance and also song creation. So one of those features is the arpeggio. Now inside here we give you tons of different arpeggios that are pre-done, and you can go ahead and just kind of experiment with them, use it for live and also for songs. But sometimes you want to create your own. So in this video, let's learn how to do it. So first off, I'm going to begin. I'm going to press the sequencer button, and I'm going to use MIDI channel 2. And let me find a quick sound. And I'm going to use a bass. And I already dropped it down an octave. That's just personally what I like to do. And I'll select it. And let's turn this phrase that I'm going to play, let's turn this into an arpeggio. So I might do a phrase like this. Okay, let's turn that into a phrase. I'm going to go into my sequencer here, and I'm going to hit Song Select and make sure I have an initialized song. So sequencer, Song Select, and load. So nothing's here. There's my sound, and I'm going to press record. And that tempo sounds okay, so maybe we could do. Great. And I'm going to change that loop to 2 measures, and I'll put that input quantize to grid, or let's go ahead and shuffle 16th note, and I'm going to have it shuffle, and I'll have my count in to wait note. So I think we're set. Let's go ahead and record that 2 measure playing, 2 measure phrase. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and stop there. So now we have this 2-bar phrase, and thank goodness for the sequencer because I was a little off, but no problem. There we go. Great. So now we have this here. Now let's go ahead and press arpeggio. So we're inside our arpeggios, and check this out. We can go ahead and we can import from standard MIDI file or from import song, and I'm going to use import song right here. And all I have to do is tell it on what track the arpeggio that I want to bring in is on. And we put this one on track 2. Let's import. Great. And I'll go ahead and put it on number 1. That's fine. I'll rename this, and I might call this, I might call this Ed Bass Arp. Okay, now that we have it named, let's just press OK, and I can choose wherever I want to put it, and I have a lot of different spots for it. And here we go. Go ahead and select and execute, and here we go. So it's actually writing that ARP in there. Now, one thing to know, when you create your own arpeggio inside the FA, and you see right here it says user 01 Ed Bass Arp, it's gonna play back. You have to play it back as a phrase. That's what it's going to be at. So let's go ahead and try it now. I'm going to get out of the sequencer area, and I'm going to go back to my FA preview, just reset it, and I'm going to choose just a different bass. I'm going to turn on arpeggio, and notice it went back to the preset. I'm going to go ahead and go to the users right here in a lot of different basses. There we go. And there it is. And I'm going to put it on motif phrase. Pretty cool. Look, it even changed octave because we got to change it here. And here we go. A couple little mistakes in there, so let's go back and correct that. And let's go ahead and try. Let's make sure I'm not wrong. Let's try a variation. There is none. And let's try a different motif. Notice what happened there. It kept the rhythm. Let's try down. Same thing. So this is pretty cool. So if I put it in phrase, it'll play back my custom arpeggio exactly as I played it. If I put it in anything else, it looks like it. Let's try this one. What happens? it's just playing the rhythm. That could be really helpful if maybe you have a moving bass and you're trying to have some chords behind it. Tell you what, let's go ahead and do that again. So once again, I'm going to start off in the sequencer area, and I'm going to go ahead. Let's do a new song. Select new initialized song. Great. And I'll choose a bass once again. Since that's fine. And let's find something. Great, so we'll just choose that bass, something different. And notice I put it on a different track. So inside, instead of using when it was on track 2, I put it on track 1. And let's go ahead and select it. Wait note, we'll go ahead and put it for 2 measures in the loop. And resolution, I'm going to put it back on grid and see if I can play a little bit better. So let's try a different arpeggio. Let's do this one. Let's go, so 2 measures, we're good, here we go. Oh, I messed up, let's take off arpeggio. So shift, undo, let's try it one more time. Arpeggio, grid, everybody good? All right, here we go, one more time. Backed up. Great, let's go ahead and back it up. And here. Let's try one more time, so shift, undo. Let's play a little more simple this time. Okay, loop is correct, everything's good. Here we go. Great, so we have that sequence. In here, let's go ahead now and go back to arpeggio. And once again, import song and track 1, import. And I'm just going to overwrite the previous one and execute and OK. Great, so now that should be in there. And now let's get out of the sequencer and move everything around. I'll go ahead and clear out that sequence. There's nothing there, just so you guys can see. And so I'm back in here. And here we go. Let's go ahead and choose another bass. Instead of maybe that bass, let's choose a compression EP. Turn on that arpeggio. And let's go ahead and change it to the user. Now watch this, if I hold down shift, it'll jump by 10s. Hold down shift and the arpeggio will jump by 10. So that could be a really quick way for you to go in there. So here we go, and it's number 1. Oh, I forgot to name it, so it just says internal song. So no problem, not a big deal. And let's put it on motif, let's put it on phrase, and let's make sure the octave range is on 0. And let's see what happens, here we go. Pretty cool right there. So we just created our own arpeggio from a sequence. So we just took a portion of a sequence and created our own arpeggio. Now, remember what earlier when we were trying to move different motifs around and it was playing the rhythm, such as this. So let's do a quick experiment. Let's exit out of here, and instead of a bass sound, let's change this into maybe some kind of a synth sound. And let's go inside of here, and maybe let's try a brass. And good. Let's look at that arpeggio. There it is. So it's just going to play the rhythm, not the note order because I don't have it on phrase, and we just have an octave range 1. Let's just hold a chord, see what happens. Oh, let's check this real quick. And it looks like and let's try again. So it's taking the arpeggio that we created and it's using the same rhythm, but it's arpeggiating with the notes that we're playing. Let's try again, and let's change that motif again. Let's try it as a chord, see what happens. So check that out. So if we put it in phrase, it's going to play back that custom arpeggio exactly as we played it. If we play back using some of the other different motifs, it'll just play the rhythm. But if we go ahead and we put down a different chord, it'll play back that arpeggio, but only the rhythm, not the notes, unless we put it on chord. And then it'll play back all the notes we're holding down as a chord, but with that rhythm that we recorded in our custom arpeggio. That's pretty cool. So let's try one more example real fast. So we did that with a single note. In this example, let's go ahead and try and do it with a chord kind of phrase. So I'm going to go back here, go to sequencer, and let's do a new song, and there's nothing there. Okay, and on that first one, I'll go ahead and choose that 76 pure. Let's see if we can create a custom arpeggio using chords. Let's go ahead and try. So once again, I put my record on, grid, and let's go ahead, 2 measures, grid quantize, and we're set to go. Here we go. Great, we have our custom arpeggio. And now let's go back to the arpeggio section. And I'm going to cursor up. I'm going to hold that shift button so I can jump by 10. And here we go. And I'm going to put it on number 2. And I'm going to go to, whoop, I got to import it first. So I'm going to go here, import track. And we're going to name it. And we're going to name it EP. We'll name it EP ARP, just so we know. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and execute and make sure it's on number 2. There we go. I almost messed up again. Great. And so it should be there. Let's go ahead and get out of the sequencer. And the reason I'm getting out of the sequencer, just so you can see, what I'm doing is not dependent on the sequencer now. I already took that data that we recorded and we saved it inside the arpeggio section. So just clear out a song just so you can see nothing's in there. Get out of the sequencer, and I'm going to go back over here. And let's just choose something else. Go to arpeggio, and it's on. Put that motif in phrase, and let's hold it with one finger. Let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and adjust my octave here from when I was doing the bass examples. It jumped up by 2 octaves. Because we told it, let's go ahead and put it at 0, and I'm going to drop it down to a different key. That's pretty cool. So as you can see, I can go ahead and create a single arpeggio type pattern, or I can create more of a chordal. Now, let's go ahead and try one more thing. In the motif, let's change that to how we were doing earlier, changing it to where it plays it up or down, and let's see if it plays the rhythm but not the pitch. Let's see what happens. So I just chose a 1 sound. So as you can see, this is a pretty cool and pretty easy process. So if you want to create your own arpeggio inside the FA, it's very easy. So very quickly, the steps are, go ahead and go into the sequencer, choose a new song, go ahead and you just choose think about what type of arpeggio you want to create, use that instrument, and then we'll record a sequence, and it could be different lengths. Go ahead and experiment, 1 measure, 2 measure, 4 measures, whatever. Try it out, and then once you have that song, which you don't have to save the song, then we'll go to arpeggio, go ahead and press import song, and tell it what track you're bringing in to save as an arpeggio. After you import that track, rename it so you know which one it is and what it's supposed to do, and then you can go ahead and choose where you want to save it inside the FA, and then execute, and you're set to go. After you do that, just make sure the arpeggio, if you want to play it back exactly as you played it, just make sure it's on phrase. All right, I hope this helps you guys and gals out. Go ahead and have some fun with this, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.